Hello, namaste to all. I am Min Prasad Abadi. Today also I am here with my new session, and in today's session I'll be giving some tips on news reports and articles. I hope today's presentation will be useful for the students of plus 2 level, grade 11, grade 12, and even the students of the bachelor's level, like BBA students, BCA students, BBS students, even for the B.Ed students. Uh, Let me present some highlights first. And in today's session, I'll be talking about news reports, the concept of news reports. Then I'll be presenting the basic structure of a news report. I'll be giving some useful tips for writing a good news report. Some samples we'll see. Then we'll be talking about news articles for newspaper or magazines, the features of those articles, the general structure of those articles for newspaper and magazines, and at last I'll present some samples of such articles. Now, without any delay, let me present some information about news reports. First, let's learn the meaning of news reports. Actually, news reports are the newsworthy pieces of content or information that inform the readers about certain happening regarding the works of an organization. All the happenings cannot be included in news reports. Those happenings which are newsworthy, which are unique, which are significant, which have certain impact on the audience, can be incorporated in a news report. In the language of journalism, there is a saying that a news report must be about newsworthy information. News must be new, it is said, and I have borrowed a statement from journalism, that is, if a dog bites a man, it won't be a news. It won't be news. But if a man bites a dog, it will be news. It means news must be newsworthy. News must be unique. News must be about those events which are significant, which are important. They are highly factual, and generally in news writings, news reports, we don't include our opinion. We just present the facts. We just report the facts. We just report the happenings as it is. Generally, while writing a news report, we have to keep a general format. In the language of journalism, we say it is 5 W's and 1 H. And these 5 W's and 1 H are also called journalistic. Those questions are who question, what, when, where, why, and how. So our news article should answer these 5 W's and 1 H question. In detail, let me say that the question who refers to some other sub questions like who was involved in the development. So who caused the event? Who was the main actor? Who else was involved? So who were the actors or the participants, or who were the people who caused particular event? If you are writing a news article about a program, uh, who were the participants? Who were the audience? Who are the chief guests? Who were the key speakers? So you have to mention the persons involved in that event. Then What was the event? So what was the development or event about? What happened there? So answer this question also. And every event happens in a particular place. So where did that event take place? Where did that event happen? So where are the main actors from? We have to mention this. And the time, when did it happen, or when was it going to happen? If you are writing about future happenings, so when is it going to happen? How long have the organizers been working on the development of the event? You have mentioned that also. Are there any other time factors or not? So mention the information related to time. And every event happened for a certain cause. So why did they do it? Why did that happen? Why did they do it, or what are they doing it? And how that event happened. So answer the how question also. How that particular program was organized, or how did the speaker say the things he or she said it. So your writing should answer the questions related to who or the persons, questions related to things or happenings, questions related to the place, give information about the place, give information about the time, that is when question, give information about the regions, causes, factors, and give information about how certain thing was done. So your writing should include the answers to these questions. In other words, you have to write who did what, when did they do it, where did it happen, how did it happen, why did they do it. So answer these 5 W's and 1 H question in your news writing, in your news report. Now I want to give some useful tips for your news writing, news article. As I have mentioned earlier, a news article is the article, or it includes the information, newsworthy information, and generally the information about the people, power, and money will be newsworthy. We have to include the whole story in the first paragraph. The most important information should be written at the top. We have to maintain objectivity, fairness, and balance, which is called accuracy, balance, and credibility in the language of media or journalism, ABC. A journalist or a news writer, or let's say a media person, has to maintain accuracy, balance, and credibility. The happenings should be presented objectively, fairly, and in balanced manner. You have to make sure that the news report answers 5 W's and 1 H question. And to make your news writing more reliable, more, let's say, trustworthy, you have to quote the saying of the people, saying of the actors also. Your writing must be simple and informative. You have to maintain simplicity, brevity, and clarity in your writing. And one more thing I want to say here about the news headings, or the headings of the news article. Generally, we use present tense in news headings. So we don't use the past tense, and we avoid the use of be verbs in the news headings. We'll see the examples later also. We don't write, like for example, we don't write the PM visited New Delhi. We don't write the PM visits New Delhi. If the PM is going to visit New Delhi in future, we may write the PM to visit New Delhi. We don't write the PM is going to visit New Delhi. So we don't write this sentence, first sentence in heading. We write the PM to visit. If the PM has already visited, and if you are writing news about it, you can write the PM visits New Delhi. This is the way of writing the headings. One example I have brought here from the internet source. This example shows the uh, clear instances of these 5 W's and 1 H question. Who question, what question, when question, where, why, and how. Here, one section of a news article I want to read. Let me say this. Let me read this. A 17-year-old was arrested in the robbery and beating death of a 42-year-old veteran from Philadelphia, PA, who survived being wounded in the war on terror. So you can find out the answers to those questions here. Uh, okay, here a 17-year-old. This is the person. So it is the answer to who question. Similarly, what? Uh, okay, information related to what is given here. That person was arrested. What happened? A 17-year-old was arrested. Time is not mentioned here. That's why here is question mark. When? But the news writer could mention the time also here. Like a 17-year-old was arrested in the robbery and beating death of an 42-year-old veteran from Philadelphia yesterday or on Wednesday. Like this, it would be better if time was mentioned here, and the reason, cause is also mentioned here. That is related to why question. So why he was arrested? The reason is because he was arrested on the charge of robbing and beating an 42-year-old veteran to death. This is an example. Let me present another also. Second paragraph. Yes. Okay. The second paragraph. Here also you can find the answer to those questions, like a second male teen was still being sought in the murder of Dean Stretch Mennings, a retired oil refinery company worker who was brutally attacked in the parking lot of his apartment Wednesday night and died the following morning. So here the person related is a second teen. The information related to what is being sought. The information related to time is Wednesday. The information related to place is in the parking lot of Dean Stretch Benning's apartment. The information related to why, the reason is murder, and how that murder was done. A brutal attack, it is mentioned here. This is related to how. So in this way, this paragraph has answered these questions. Who question, what question, when question, where question, why question, and how questions. So as much as possible in our writing, in our paragraph, we have to incorporate the answers to 5W and 1H question. It means we have to answer uh, who did what, when did they do it, where did it happen, how did it happen, why did they do it. So while writing a news article, we have to keep these things in our mind. Now, I presented some examples also. So what is most important while writing a news article, especially the lead paragraph? I have some tips here. Start with most important thing in the story, and generally the information related to whom, person involved in the incident, and the happening. These things are the most important things. So you mention these things at first. So usually that's the who or the what. And we rarely mention the answer to the question where and when at the beginning of our news story. Almost never it is said here, but sometimes we may mention this also, but very rarely. Sometimes, particularly in follow-up stories, in second paragraph, third paragraphs, we may mention, we answer the questions why that happened, how that happened. So first we mention what happened, who were involved in the incident. Then we mention where, why, how, and other details. So I have, for your uh, convenience, I have collected some samples of news articles here, and I have attached uh, here in these slides also. It's not possible to read the entire article, it's long. Just let me read the headlines, headings, and some sentences only. I also collected this article from the internet. So the title of this article is Nepal confirms first case of deadly coronavirus. See the title. The news writer has used present tense here, though the incident happened in the past. The news writer has used the present tense. So this is the practice. Nepal confirms first case of deadly coronavirus. So we don't use Nepal confirmed here. We write Nepal confirms. So you keep this thing in your mind. As I said earlier, we write the PM visits New Delhi, not PM visited New Delhi. And generally, while writing uh, the story about the past happenings in the detail, I mean in the paragraphs, we use past tense. So mostly we use past tense in those paragraphs. But if you are writing a news about the future happenings, future programs, future activities, you may use present tense and future tense also uh, in such such articles. Going to future, simple future, future continuous, future perfect continuous, simple present, present continuous. But if you are writing about the past happenings, use past tense in the paragraphs and use present tense in the headings, and avoid the use of be verb in the headings. We don't use be verbs in the headings. So I have included the entire news report here. You can read this thing. So I'll upload these slides to my Google Classroom also. So you can download from there and read the entire article, and you can prepare accordingly for your final exam. And I have included another news report. I think this is shorter than the previous one. This is the current one, I think. President wishes for a speedy recovery of British PM. Let me read this as it is very short. Kathmandu, April 18. This is the place and time. President Vidya Devi Bhandari has wished for the speedy recovery of Prime Minister Boris Johnson of the United Kingdom. The British Prime Minister is currently undergoing treatment after being hospitalized since his coronavirus symptoms worsened. So like this it goes on. So be careful about subject verb agreement. Uh, be careful about grammar and mechanics while writing. So try to maintain accuracy in your language also. And as I have mentioned earlier, in your news writings, you cannot include your personal opinion, personal argument or logic. While writing other types of text like feature stories, opinion articles, editorials, letter to the editor, in those articles, you may use your personal argument, personal view, or let's say personal opinion. But in news reports, you never use your personal opinion. Another uh, example is here, COVID-19 testing capacity to be doubled. To be doubled. So this news article is uh, about the future happenings. So it is about the plan of the government of Nepal to double the capacity of COVID-19 testing. So the heading is written like this: COVID-19 testing capacity to be doubled. So it indicates the future happening. Okay, so it goes on like this. Okay, the government is going to double the coronavirus testing capacity following the demand for the same for the from the states and districts. It goes on like this. So later on from Google Classroom, you can download this article and okay, read in detail, read the complete article. But this time, just as a sample only, I have attached here, and I have included some links, useful links for further reading. So you can copy these URLs and visit those links and get more information, more ideas about the techniques of writing news articles. You can see the features, you can see the standard of writing those articles from those authentic sources and prepare accordingly for your final exam. So this is the first section of my today's presentation. Now let's move on to next section of this presentation. This section is about writing articles for newspapers and magazines. Actually, articles and news reports are different. Articles are the reports of happenings, factual happenings, without adding our personal judgment or argument. In news articles, I am saying news articles or news reports, but in articles, especially opinion articles, columns, and other, we may write. We are free to include our own opinion, let's say judgment, our agreement, disagreement, and so on. So we write articles on certain issues, issues of common interest, issues of common public concern, uh, some current problems, and so on. So the topics may be about politics, society, economics, business, commerce, language, literature, and so on. So let's talk about articles for a newspaper or magazines for some time. First, we have to know the meaning of those articles. Articles and stories are written for wider audience. These articles share some of the elements of news report. Some features are similar in the sense they also include the answers to 5W and 1H question. But the major difference is the article writers are free to put forward their views, opinions, or arguments. In news reports, they are not free to do so. They can be timeless. News reports are temporal, like yesterday's news may be outdated today, may be written today, but yesterday's article may not be outdated today. It can be read, it becomes relevant for a long duration of time, sometimes for many years also. So they are timeless. They cover the topics of general interest and issues. Actually, newspapers and magazines carry a wider variety of articles. As I have mentioned earlier, they may be related to opinions, opinion articles, feature articles, seasonal feature articles, editorials, and so on. They may include amusing stories, reported speech, and descriptions. They may focus on problems and the views of the writers to those problems, issues. They those articles, magazine articles or newspaper articles, may be concerned with the issues, trends, opportunities, and so on. A good feature story or a newspaper article consists of three parts. It has good beginning, good lead paragraph, then body paragraph, which is the elaboration of the lead, and concluding paragraph, which is also called the ending paragraph. The beginning paragraph must have a clear setup, clear structure, clear framework. It should have the opening with scene, dialogue, or anecdote. It can be taken as hook element, hook technique, to draw the attention of the readers. The writer may open the paragraph, may open the article with the scene, interesting scene, or dialogue, or some references, some anecdotes. There must be explicit transition or the move from one paragraph to another paragraph, which we can say explicit transition or the shift to the theme paragraph or the node graph, usually the second or the third paragraph. The beginning paragraph should be related to the larger problem, larger issue that you may raise, you may elaborate, analyze in your writing. It should foreshadow the coming of uh, let's say topic, coming of analysis, coming of information. So there must be coherence and cohesion of the information you're writing. You have to explain, your writing should explain the so what question. So why should readers care for this? So while writing the first paragraph, the beginning paragraph, we have to keep these things in our mind. Our body paragraph, which may be the most important section of our news article, it should contain enough good examples to support our main points, or let's say thesis, like in academic essay. Even in articles, column articles, feature articles, we have thesis, main idea, main argument, main point of argument. And to support that argument, we may use examples. We may use different other techniques also, comparison, contrast, analysis, synthesis, like other techniques like exemplification, and so on. Similarly, in body paragraph, we have to include enough scenes, dialogues, foreshadowing, and anecdotes. Uh, okay, if our article is related to the events, okay, that happened in the past or that are happening, we have to keep in our mind about chronology. It is better to present the scenes or the events in the order they occurred, they happened, which is called chronology or the sequence of events. Uh, Sometimes we may have to choose between inverted pyramid and chronology. Generally, in the language of news reports, we use the pattern of inverted pyramid. Inverted pyramid. That means uh, we write the most important information first, and we move from more specific to less specific. But if our writing is about the happenings, incidents, if we are going to present the series of events that happened in the past, that time we may have to follow the chronology. So we have to decide the which pattern is better. It depends on our topic. the subject or the issue we have raised. And our body paragraph should answer to why question and how question. Like in news articles, news reports, news reports. Here also we can mention the answer to what question, let's say who question, let's say when question in the preceding paragraphs, and the answers to why question or how question in the succeeding paragraphs. Succeeding paragraphs are body paragraphs, obviously. And then we may have to present the scope, dimensions, and so on. And the last paragraph, I mean, the ending should reinforce the beginning. The ending should reinforce the main idea. I think most of the articles, newspaper articles, are written in the pattern of academic essays. In academic essays also, we have introduction, body, and conclusion. In introduction, we mention our thesis statement, which is the statement that carries out central idea, main point of thesis. The body paragraphs are the elaboration of the thesis, and the last paragraph, which is called the concluding paragraph, is the restatement of thesis. So we reinforce the beginning, reinforce our main idea. We wrap up the main storyline here, and we tie back to the setup. Means we must have a connection, coherence, and cohesion with the preceding sections of our writing. So these are some of the tips for writing a good article for the newspaper or magazines. And like a news report, I have included samples of articles also. At least one example I have included here, and for other I have included the links. The first example of news report. So this is not news. Sorry, this is not news report. This is news article. Actually, news article written by Santanu Sharma. It is about life under lockdown. So it is like an essay. Here, uh, the writer talks about the life, what kind of life he is living in the situation of lockdown. So he has his own idea, thesis, elaboration of thesis, and conclusion. So it includes several paragraphs. So generally, an academic essay may include 5 paragraphs, but an article for newspaper or magazine may not be limited to 5 paragraphs only. There may be several paragraphs. Though those paragraphs, okay, are many in number, uh, okay, in they consist of the beginning, the end, the beginning, the body paragraph, and the end. So the beginning section includes the thesis. The body section includes the elaboration or the explanation of thesis, and the ending section includes the restatement of thesis. So if you go through this article, you may find those elements here also. It's so long, it's not possible to read all here. So you can read in your free time. And for more samples, more authentic examples of opinion articles or the articles for newspapers and magazines, you can visit these links and prepare at least one sample for your exam. So this is all about today's presentation. In today's session, I tried my best to make you clear about news reports and articles for newspapers and magazines. So go through those slides and get ideas and prepare at least one sample of article as well as report for your exam. And uh, for your future also, you may go through these ideas and practice several times to refine refine your language. So that's all for today. So in the next session, I'll be coming with another important topic related to uh, language skill, that may be reading or other language skills. Thank you very much.